Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Kleros community call. Today is Wednesday, 22nd. And well, Federico is not hosting today because he's at a conference in Paris, actually a talk that he is giving in Paris. And part of the team is at the DappCom in Berlin. We have a scans there. We have some presence, and tomorrow we are organizing an event with Q Blockchain about blockchain governance, RWAs, and subjective oracles, and all of that. I'll share the link on the Telegram group, and we also have in the coming week lots of events. I believe, let me get the list. But Clement is giving a talk at Block Split. It's a conference in Croatia. Also, Federico is giving two talks in Switzerland. One about dispute resolution in the esports industry, and another one about social media, how to moderate content on social media without restraining free speech. And these both of the talks will be on the University of Neuchâtel. And I'll send the links too, because you can for the esports conference there will also be a stream, so everyone can attend. And well, next week, Marcos will be giving a presentation. Actually, he will be a part of a panel on a consumer disputes conference in Buenos Aires. There is not related to crypto at all. It's just a general consumer disputes conference, and it will probably be one of the first contact of the people in the conference with the solutions that we have been working on, especially the Lemon solution. Maybe Marcos can tell a little bit more about it later.
Yes. Yep, we are going to this event that is going to be held on May the 31, and I'm going to be speaking about what Kleros is, and again, as you just mentioned, this is not a Web3 event, but we think, or not we think, there's like very important people who's going to be attending to this event. Mostly related to companies that could start using this new product or service that is called Kleros Enterprise. So, well, I think this could be, again, could bring good results for us, people interested here. And then on Monday, we were too on the Australian University speaking about what Kleros is to the students of that university. It was a good event. We were there with Juan. Yep, we are having a lot of this kind of events here in Argentina.
Yeah, for if anyone listening didn't heard about the Lemon cases or the cases that we are resolving for this crypto exchange in Argentina. Basically, there's a process that we created that helps companies that are not connected directly with Web3 to create the cases and receive a result about the consumer disputes that they can commit to accept the results, and without taking the case doesn't need to be initiated directly on the application. It can be initiated by us, either manually or automatically. And the great advantage of this is that it is very a lot easier to get new integrations and new cases as you know, there are lots of cases, lots of consumer complaints and disputes on the, let's say, the off-chain world. But the hard task is to bring these conflicts or these disputes to Web3. So Kleros is basically bridges this gap, and so we can have the same conflict dispute resolution for companies like telecoms, e-commerce.
In this presentation, we used to mention the quantity of Web2 disputes that happen because of the quantity of transactions that happen every day. We have the number. Well, no, it's not relevant the number here because it's about a Mercado Libre. It's a company from Argentina, but it's really a lot. There are a lot of disputes each day because of digital transactions. Yeah, I was going to mention something else and I forgot it. About the Lemon. Now that we are talking about Lemon integration, just to mention that 2 new cases were created this week, and one was already resolved, and the other one is still in the, I think, is in the voting period. So for the jurors that are staking in the blockchain No Técnica, pay attention to this. And we have the number, the statistic that 4 of the last 5 cases of the Lemon cases were won by the users. So this is something interesting to analyze, and maybe something that we could help us to get new integrations in the future.
Just to give a little bit of a context, at first, when we just had like the policy was just the terms and conditions of the exchange, and the process for the users that were the consumers that were creating the dispute were not. We were basically putting wherever they said on the dispute, and in those cases, it was the disputes tended to favor the company. So Marcos and the team have worked to basically to balance the equation, so the user can be so it gets easier for the user to win. So the user gets not just like a fair trial, but also the sense of a fair trial, which is also important because the end goal with these for the companies is not to follow the exact rule of the terms and conditions. It's more in these deep disputes. It's more like to give the user a sense that the result was fair, that the verdict was was properly evaluated. So and this is something that we maybe did not expect at first, but if I correct me if I'm wrong, Marcos, but 90% of the users that received a bad response, that they had their claim that had their claim rejected, they still
exactly.
continued. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the number exactly.
So it's very important. So now that Marcos has said that four of the last 5 cases were won by the user, this is very important to us because it also proves that Kleros can favor the user and not just the company. And of course, the balance might change in the future, but it's for us it's very positive. Okay, so just another thing, Marcos. We mentioned maybe in the last couple of calls that Lemon will be implementing the button and directly on the interface, right? And that has been delayed.
I didn't listen you very well. Did you ask me something?
Yes, on the last couple of calls, we mentioned that Lemon would implement the button directly on the interface so users can create the cases, right? But it has
Yeah.
been delayed.
No,
And
yeah. It was not delayed. They told us that this was happening the next weeks, and since they told us, I think that was 2 weeks ago. So for the moment, we are fine. This used to take more time that takes in our walkthrough project, but I don't know, maybe in 1-2 weeks we will have some news. But we didn't receive information from them that was delayed, so everything's going fine at the moment.
Perfect. Yep. So the next step will probably have the button and then make the announcements that we talked about, and of course release product to more companies. That's all for the people listening. Okay, so let me just mention two things. Well, last week we had a demo of the Kleros Curate v2. The interface is looking pretty good. It's fast, snappy, and fortunately it can be easily maintained now because the previous version had some frameworks that were not that are not used anymore. So this is pretty good. It's almost I don't want to say exactly when it will be finished, but it looks it looks like it is going pretty well. And as you must see in the screenshot, it's already working properly. In general, probably there are some bug fixes that should be made, but it's already a working demo. And the next step will be to share with you the page, so the test page, so you can also try and find maybe bugs. And where else? I believe that the Kleros Escrow has been progressing steadily as well. We had, I don't know if you've seen on the chat, we had a request to update our logo on the bank. And it's very important if you can vote on that proposal because it can speed up the change, and then this will fix a detail on the gadget that we have for bioimmunity cross-chain that will be on the V2 page, but it will be also be released earlier, so it will be easier to onboard users whenever they want to buy the token. Just send the link and regardless of where they have the funds, they can buy PNK. For many users, that's a barrier that they don't cross. So to help with that. And well, this I believe Friday, someone asked on the chat if Kleros contributed to getting verified on Zerion. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a wallet or a portfolio manager. And I found out that it does. It's one of the lists that is verified, been selected by Zerion to be considered as well a valid list. So that's also good. It means that those scout lists are getting validation from other parties, and it makes it even more important for projects to get registered on Kleros. There's also lots of progress made on the ATQ list. It's a list that allows developers to submit queries that get the labels of many addresses at a time. And I believe that the lists already have like 400,000 entries, and it's also a great sell point for the list and the Girl Scout lists. there are some possible some conversations going on about using these lists as well. Well, I think that's it for me. But William?
Yeah, I've continued to do sort of the same types of research that I've discussed in previous community calls. Still thinking about these questions related to different kinds of incentive systems that can better deal with cases where the rates at which outcomes win are very unbalanced. If you have a sort of curated list where the challenger wins 95% of the time, our current solution to that, to sort of like our approach to making sure that jurors don't always just vote for the challenger, just like blindly, you set up a bot, just always reject, is to have high deposits, so that the sort of like edge that an honest juror would get by like actually looking at the case and taking the time to do the effort will be enough to like overcome the time and effort they actually make. So their improved odds of winning will compensate them for their efforts. But that can lead to high deposits. We have a blog article coming out about these ideas sort of imminently, where I talk about like some different kinds of incentive systems that one conceivably you could use, particularly in early rounds, to deal with these issues. And then, pushing on even beyond what's in the blog article, which, not out yet, but, like maybe if you're listening to this recording, maybe you will have already read it. I'm thinking about some like ways to use some data from an experiment that our PhD student, Jan, at the University of Paris too, did last year, where he did sort of like behavioral experiments with sort of participants in like basically like professional experiment takers, that were in sort of a Kleros simulated environment on using some of the kind of multiple choice voting systems described in the yellow paper. How I can take some of that kind of data and see how it performs on these different kinds of like incentive systems, to see like if you have like high rates of people voting for one option, like in like a multiple choice outcome situation, like how that holds up. So excited to share the blog article. Other than that, I'm continuing to think about spellbound tokens and how they can be used in the weighting of juror selection. So I have a talk about this at ECC in a little under 2 months. And some of the ideas that I'll be talking about, I already discussed in this blog article that I released a couple months ago, on these sort of broadly these ideas about spellbound token weighting. But there are some interesting sort of like questions at the end that I suggest in the article, that future research that I'm working on now. These particularly questions about like how to use spectral clustering, and these like more advanced sort of clustering algorithms to try to like pick out like who are the real groups of people, like a group not just being like, I want the viewpoint of like the sort of complementary groups in our juror community, and I want to give them each enough weight to realistically be drawn. And like a simple thing you can do is just say, okay, like anyone who has like each individual SPT, that means that you have a distinct viewpoint. But maybe you have like SPTs that are really related. Like you have like everybody that has the sort of like JavaScript developer SPT also has like other kinds of developer SPTs. And like you were like, okay, I mean, that's not like, that's a group, but it's not like a whole bunch of different groups. And how you can sort of like pick up this kind of information about the graph of people whose SPTs, to get like a more nuanced weighting algorithm. Based off of ideas of Glenn Weil, where he's trying to use the same sort of ideas, but for quadratic funding. So I will share the state of the art of the research in my talk in a couple of weeks.
Nice. I'm very curious to listen to the talk. And I have a question, William. Have you read recently the book by Audrey Tangen and Glenn Weil was published? Have you read it yet?
I read parts of it. I haven't read the whole thing. Glenn Weil sent me a draft like a couple months ago, and he suggested like certain sections that I would be particularly interesting to me, and I've read those, but I haven't read the final version yet. So I look forward to reading the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to ask you does it mention some kind of soulbound research or soulbound token research, or it's like unrelated?
There's definitely stuff that is philosophically related. I can't remember if he mentions those technical ideas specifically, but there's definitely stuff in that spirit.
Nice. Yeah, I'll take a look. I just found out that it was released a couple of days ago. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I know that Boomer is here. Luke. Okay. Okay, so if we have no questions, then let's just end the call here. Thanks everyone for attending and listening to the recording, and see you on Telegram. Bye.
Bye, everybody.